If you're learning German, I bet you've seen this happen and scratched your head. A verb that just seems to break in half, sending one little piece all the way to the end of the sentence. It looks weird, right? Well, it's actually a huge feature of the language, and today we're going to crack the code on exactly how and why it works. Let's jump in.
Right now, this whole thing might feel like a big, confusing puzzle. You've got all the pieces, but they don't seem to fit together. But trust me, there's a super clear logic behind it. And once you see the rules, everything is going to click right into place.
So let's look at a classic example. Ich rufe dich morgen an. Now, you probably know the verb is anrufen, to call. So why on earth is the an just stranded way over there at the end? This is the exact mystery we're about to solve together.
Okay, first things first. The language isn't broken. This is totally intentional. It's a rule. It all comes down to something called prefix verbs. And believe it or not, the system is surprisingly simple once someone just lays it out for you. So let's do that right now.
Here's the secret. All you have to know is that German prefixes basically belong to one of two teams. You've got the separable ones and the inseparable ones. And each team has its own very simple rule. If you know the team, you know the rule. Let's meet them. First up, we've got team splitter. These are the separable verbs. Their one and only job, the prefix breaks off and zips to the end of the sentence. Then you've got team sticker, the inseparable verbs. Their rule is even easier. That prefix stays glued to the verb no matter what. That's it. That's the whole game. Okay, so let's zoom in on team splitter first. These are the guys that cause all the confusion, but they follow a really predictable pattern. Let's break it down. So, these right here, these are the star players for team splitter. When you see a verb that starts with ab, an, auf, mit, that's your signal. A little alarm should go off in your head that says, aha, this one's gonna split. And here's what that looks like out in the wild. Let's take anrufen, to call. In a sentence, it becomes ich rufe dich an. You see, the main part of the verb rufe gets conjugated and sits in its normal spot. But that prefix, an, whoosh, it gets kicked all the way to the end. It's the exact same pattern for aufstehen, to get up. Steht 7 Uhr auf.
Okay, but what about the past tense? This is actually pretty cool. For these splitters, you make what I like to call a G sandwich. The little particle G, which tells you something's in the past, gets squished right between the prefix and the verb. So anrufen becomes angerufen. Easy, right?
All right, so that was team splitter. Now for their buddies, team sticker. And you're gonna love these guys because their rule is even simpler. They always stick together. And here are the key players for team sticker. Prefixes like be, and especially the super common ver are your clues. When you see a verb starting with one of these, you can relax. That prefix is like super glue. It is not going anywhere. And check it out in a sentence. For besuchen, to visit, it's just ich besuche meine Freunde. See? No drama. The verb stays completely in one piece. Same thing for verstehen, to understand. Ich verstehe das Problem. The prefix and the verb just act like a single solid unit. And here is the other absolutely crucial rule for team stecker. When you put them in the past tense, you do not add ge. It's like the inseparable prefix is already so strong it doesn't need any help. So verstehen just becomes verstanden. No ge sandwich needed. Phew, okay, we've met both teams, we've seen their moves, so let's put it all together on one simple cheat sheet just so you can see the big differences side by side. This is really the main event right here. In a normal sentence, for team splitter, that prefix shoots to the end, ich stehe auf. But for team sticker, it just chills out and stays attached, ich verstehe. This is the #1 rule you're going to use every single day. And for the past tense, here's the other big difference. Team splitter makes that good sandwich, aufgestanden. Team sticker, nope, no good insight, verstanden. Honestly, if you can just remember what's on these last two slides, you have basically cracked the code. All right, theory time is over. You've seen the rules, you've seen the examples, now it's time to put it into action. Let's do a couple of quick practice questions to really make it stick. You ready? Okay, here's the first one. The verb is besuchen. Now, the first thing you do is look at that prefix, be. Which team does that belong to? Is it a splitter or a sticker? What do you think? You got it, of course. That prefix be is a core member of team sticker, which means it's inseparable. The verb stays together, wir besuchen.
Excellent.
Okay, next up, let's try anrufen. Look closely at that on prefix. Now think back. Which team was that on? What's going to happen here?
Yes, exactly right. An is a classic team splitter prefix. So, the main verb rufe goes right into position 2, and the prefix an gets launched to the very end of the sentence. You've totally got this pattern down.
All right, let's do one more just to lock it in for good. The verb is aufstehen. What are you going to do with that auf prefix?
Nailed it. Perfect. Auf is another one of those classic splitters. So the verb splits right in two. Steht, and the prefix goes right to the end. Auf. Fantastic work.
And just like that, the puzzle is solved. You now have the key to understanding and actually using hundreds of German verbs correctly. What probably felt like some weird, broken grammar rule is now just a clear and simple pattern. So, the only question is, what German sentence are you going to build first?